Loading Up Podcast. Game on.
Perfect.
Welcome back to the Loading Up Podcast. It's a new year, but it's the same us. And before we get into everything, just want to remind you that if you're watching us on YouTube, you can like, comment, and subscribe. If you look in the description, you can see some of our sponsors, which is W Energy and NordVPN. You can save some money off subscriptions and services and products and all that good stuff. And it'll help us out. And we'll thank you, and we'll thank them, and it'll all be nice. And it's been a while because we decided to take off for a little bit during the holidays because it's a lot going on around that time. But then as everything happens, life happens and things come up, and we kept kind of pushing it back, but we finally are back for real this time. So
Is it real?
It's real. It's real. But before we get into it, I forgot. We got to get back in the groove of things. I forgot to introduce you, my co-host, brother Zay.
Yo, I am here. I am here.
Yeah, it's been a while, so I'm a little rusty.
It's okay. It's all good.
Yeah. So let's just start. What have you been playing the past month? Because that's how long it's been.
It's been about that. Yeah, exactly. Almost a month. We went through Christmas and New Year's. Playing and being with family. And
did you buy any of the games on sale?
Yes, I did.
There was a bunch of
course.
games on sale because of the end of the year sale.
Yeah, they had a Christmas sale, and then I didn't get anything on the Christmas sale, but I got stuff on the end of year sale. Like I bought Final Fantasy 7 Crisis Core. I bought the Integrate remake that's coming on Xbox actually this week. I bought that. I got Yakuza Like a Dragon, the pirate game. I also brought Final Fantasy 16, so I haven't even started any of them. Besides, I beat Crisis. Hold on, I brought Crisis Core, and I'm playing through that, and I'm at the end of that, and that's right. That's a prequel to the Final Fantasy 7 remake. So as soon as I finish that, I'll jump right into Final Fantasy 7 remake, and then after that, I will. Z16 is what I picked up on sale, and then I'll start Yakuza because I know Yakuza is probably just as long, if not longer, than Final Fantasy 16. So besides what I picked up from the sales, as you can see if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see my playthrough of Arc Raiders, and I've been playing a ton of Arc Raiders. I think that's probably the game, besides Rocket League and maybe a round of Call of Duty or two, I've been playing the crap out of Arc Raiders. I think I found a new appreciation for the game, and I really like the game a lot. I thank brother Matt for that because he sort of introduced the game. He made me buy it. Let's be real. He made me buy the game, and
he almost made me buy it too.
Yeah. Wait, don't you have it?
So yes, I do have it. My brother bought it, and we game share. So I have it.
Okay, you game share. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, he made me buy it. I was reluctant. I played a little bit, then went to different games, and now I'm this whole month back on it, grinding, and I actually like it a lot. It's really fun. It's really fun solo too, because you get to meet interesting people while you're playing, and it's really fun as a group. So, I was probably gonna play after this.
Yeah. So answer me this, because I haven't jumped into it yet because I'm very hesitant based on
shouldn't be.
the type of. I know, but I was told by a coworker of mine that if you are the type of person to be more friendly, don't engage and cooperate with other survivors or whatever, that you will be put into more lobbies that have people like that. Is that true?
That, you know what? I want to say, because this is my experience. I'll tell you from my personal experience. When I'm playing solo, I'm friendly. I don't go just around shooting people as soon as I see them. I try and be friendly. Now, if they shoot me, I'm fighting back, of course.
Yeah.
But for the most part, when I play solo, I've experienced great people out there. I've experienced where people are sharing, people are helping, people are sharing loot or talking to each other and just being overall genuine friendly people just playing the game, you know.
Right.
But it is a different side when you're playing in groups of threes. I'll be honest with you, no matter the map you play on, if you're playing groups of threes, it's pretty much on site. You know, you see
Yeah.
people, you got to fight them because you guys are fighting for the same type of loot. You're searching the same areas to get the loot. So it's very depends on the situation. I've had tons like you if you're like I said, if you're watching now on YouTube, these is all solo runs, and a lot of the times I'm chilling. Sometimes I'll fight, you know, most of the times I'm just fighting art. Overall, I think if you do the quests that they have in the game, you'll start to realize that yes, you can fight the people, and yes, you just fight humans if you want. But the main part of the story is that we're humans that were forced underground by these machines. And we kind of have to band together to rebuild society. But a lot of that is being stopped were just greedy for loot and they just want the loot for themselves. So like
Yeah.
for me, the objective is to play, be friendly, help each other out, and try and get loot so we can do the quest and potentially fight back against the arcs. That for me makes the game really fun and enjoyable. The other side of that is I really love to shoot people, and when me and brother Matt get together and we got a Raider hatch key, we're going out there. We see people, we fighting, we shooting them. It both sounds really fun.
Yeah. No, I definitely see. It's fun. I feel like a younger me would have very much enjoyed a game like this. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I feel better playing online when I'm with people. Like if I'm on a
Yeah.
team. That's why I like playing online like in Call of Duty or any other multiplayer shooter. Like I feel okay because I'm on a team. But when I'm by myself, I get so anxious that I don't want to do anything. And then that's why I'm like, I don't know if I can just play by myself because it's so nerve-wracking.
It is.
But
But there are so many
maybe
ways you could play where you won't lose things for in this particular game by yourself.
right. So I mean maybe one of these days I'll give it but
You know what it
it's
is? You
put
gotta
on the
partner
back
up with
burner a
me.
little bit.
Yeah, you gotta play with
Yeah,
me and
you know
brother
what?
Matt, and we'll run some raids and see how you feel.
Okay, that's fair enough. All right. Next time you guys are available, let me know and then I'll jump in with you guys.
Copy.
But so yeah, so was that it or playing more stuff?
Most it's all I played a little few things here and there. Like I told you, I played the Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. I'm almost done with that. I also played like Call of Duty, some Battlefield, Rocket League, of course, with my buddies. But mostly just been Arc Raiders.
Got you. Okay.
So
So
what you been playing?
so I I bought quite a few games on the sale.
Yeah, for the backlog.
So yes, just to add on to the backlog. So I bought because so I think this was the Christmas sale that because I obviously I have the ROG Ally Ally X and I'm trying to like figure things out and make it more compatible, downloading all the widgets and all that stuff. And I remembered that it's not just Steam that has that you can use. It's other stores as well, including GOG. And I was just like, "Oh yeah, that is a viable platform." So then I look up on GOG and I saw that they had a bunch of sales like practically the whole site was on sale. But the problem is that you have to sift through a lot of stuff. So literally, like on my breaks at work, on the commutes and all that stuff, I was just scrolling to see what was on sale and and to see what I could get. Eventually, I came across the Prince of Persia collection that was on sale for like I think it was like $8 for the whole collection, and I was like, yeah. So I bought it and I ran into an issue. Well, with one of the games, because the first game, it's very old. It was on the original Xbox, put it that way. Um, so it didn't run properly on the ROG X, so Xbox Ally. Yeah, so I looked up a video. I haven't done the changes yet just because it's a lot of work. Not a lot of work, but it's a lot of steps. So I kind of put it on the back burner, but I did buy the Prince of Persia collection, so I do intend on playing them eventually, as you know, my other games. But as when it comes to Steam, I did get Ratchet and Clank, a future, what was it? What's the most recent one?
Oh no, I don't know.
I forget
I
what
don't
it's
know.
called.
The
The most recent Ratchet and Clank game that's on
Rift
PC.
Apart.
Rift Apart. There you go.
Yeah.
That, as well as Ghost of Tsushima. I know I've been wanting to get, and then granted, I do have it on the PlayStation 5, but I wanted to play it on my Ally X just to see like how it performs and stuff like that. And it was on sale. I got both of them for like $30. So I was
Oh,
like,
that's a great deal.
yeah. And those, and looking to try it out, I wanted to see, and the PlayStation games rarely go on sale. So so I took the opportunity. They're finally on sale. Let me jump at it. But yeah. So yeah, I bought those. I tried them out. They run pretty good on the Xbox Ally. It's not perfect. Obviously, you got to tinker around with the setting that, but it's very serviceable for a handheld. And
Nice.
obviously, like, yeah, and that's just running it out straight out the thing. Like I made some minor tweaks, but I'm pretty sure I can go in and tweak some more stuff. I did also buy. So this is what so before we started, I was a little busy. um, I was playing Baldur's Gate 3. That's one game that I've been playing a lot of recently.
We
And
love to hear it.
yeah, and I want to say I've been infecting other people because so obviously I've been playing with my wife, Baldur's Gate 3. We did our first playthrough together and we beat it. And I know before I mentioned that we might do another one. So we decided to just do another one. So
Okay.
we've been playing that, and we're playing another run through. Right now we're in Act 2. We just reached Last Light, and now we're just trying to, like, go through all the stuff around it. But so for Christmas, I spoke to my brother, and he had told me prior that he was interested in getting Baldur's Gate 3, but he was waiting for a sale because it's never on sale.
Yeah, it's always
And
expensive.
yes, it's always like freaking $70, and he dropped a little bit. So it did drop a little bit, and he was gonna buy it, and then I told him, "Don't worry, I got it. Merry Christmas." And I bought it for him.
Nice.
It was like $50. So I got it for him for Christmas. And so he and his girlfriend are playing it now. And
Nice.
so right before we were playing, they invited us to play. So it was all four of us playing together, and it was cool. Like, honestly, like, I know because when you played with a whole party, right?
I played with my friend Ron, my friend Brea, and myself. We three of us, and then
So it's
one
three of
NPC.
you.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, so it was four of us. So we were
Yeah,
all
nice.
playing, and and ironically, like, we're at the same part. Me and
Okay.
they were like slightly behind. They're still like in early parts. Joined them right then, and obviously we already know what to do, so we're kind of like helping them and guiding through. So we were fighting the battle when this guy, what's his name, Marcus, tries to kidnap Isabel. And yeah, so
Okay.
we just, that's the battle that we were in right before we started. But in addition to all that, my wife took it upon herself to play on her own playthrough. So she's
Oh,
playing
she's like, the hell
separate.
with you. I wanna play
Yes. But That's what I'm saying. I'm infecting everybody. And then my brother said he wants to do his own playthrough. So it's just like I got everybody all this game.
That's
And then
amazing. It's an amazing
and
game.
it truly is, and I can't emphasize enough how much replayability it has, because a
Yes.
lot of times the games that RPGs, like you can play it again, but the changes are very minimal. And like they're like maybe you'll miss a few things, but largely it's the same type of. Baldur's Gate 3 is the first in my experience that it's a completely different game. Like there's been scenarios that happen completely different than the first time we played, and I'm just like, what? How? Why? How did this? How did we miss this? How did this happen? And it's just crazy. Like how did? And I know it's mostly because like we were new, we didn't know what to look for and stuff like that. So we missed out on a lot of stuff going on our first playthrough, but now we're going through again. And even on the third time, like my wife has found new stuff on her own playthrough. With my
Yep.
brother's playthrough, we found new stuff. So it's like it's a really huge game. Honestly, this
Yep.
makes me that much more excited for Divinity when that eventually comes out.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Listen, Baldur's Gate 3, that's one reason why I played 3 different campaigns in 3 different ways and got 3 different endings. It's absolutely insane. And once I beat a game, I don't go back to it. Like
Yes, me too.
I'll just that's it. I'm done with the game. But Baldur's Gate 3, I went back 3 different times.
Yeah. I'm telling you, there's something about this game. It's just one of a kind. I'll say it like that. And that now my
Yeah.
brother is experiencing it too. And I'm trying to think of anybody who would be interested, like immediate, like family who I could recommend, because it's that good. I want everybody to play this game now.
Hell yeah.
But yeah. So I've been playing that obviously, and then I've still been going through my Kingdom Hearts stuff. That grind, I'm telling you,
Oh,
the
no.
Kingdom Hearts grind is real. And it's like I didn't expect it. I did not anticipate this game. Well, this game in the series to take this long, because of it is art. So it's like literally just it's a gamble every. So maybe I'll make a lot of progress, maybe I'll make no progress. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm not playing that one as much, but I'm still chugging along with that. One game that I have been recently was a game that it's been out for a while, and I've seen it being played like on live streams and stuff like that. It just got added to Game Pass. So it was a semi shadow drop, because they did announce it, but it was like a few days prior. Quarantine Zone. I've been playing of that, and it's
Forgot I played a little bit
surprisingly
of
deep.
that.
Yeah, it's surprisingly deep. I didn't think it was gonna have that much
Yes.
in it. I thought, based on what I saw, I thought it was just you scan people and then you send them to the zones that they designate. I thought that's all it was, but
Yeah.
there's so much more to that game. And I'm not one to like play a lot of sim type games like that, but for some reason that one just hooked me in, and now that's all I want to play. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of that. That's a really good get for Game Pass too, because usually like when it comes to like Game Pass editions, they're kind of like it's always a little later on to game that they come into prominence. But because I know Quarantine Zone right
Like
now
Star Wars
is,
Outlaws.
yeah, or like Among Us. I remember when Among Us got added to Game Pass, it was like 6 months past when it was popular.
Past its prime.
Yeah, but this time I feel like this is the first time that I feel like a game got added into Game Pass right as it's popular. So good on Xbox and Microsoft for getting that in Game Pass, because I definitely I do like it, and I think a lot of people like it as well. There's a lot of bugs in it, but you can look past.
I mean, it's a sim game. It's not like
it's a sim game. It's an
AAA.
indie game. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you
So
kind of have to look
it's
past all that stuff.
I do look past it because I did play some of it, and I really liked what I played, so I'll play more of it.
Yes, yes. I'm definitely gonna play more of that. But yeah, that's the main things I've been playing.
All right, very nice. Very nice. I guess we'll jump right into some of the news. We'll sort of recap some of the biggest news that we've missed over the last month and just, of course, this past week. And
Definitely.
let's just jump right into it because I think this is probably one of the biggest news that was a drop in the bucket over the holiday season. And I think it's bigger than people realize, or they probably want to push it to the side and not talk about it much, which was the PlayStation 5 ROM keys were hacked. And if you let's talk about a little bit about it. If you don't understand, right into the of everything. Meaning the ROM keys being hacked means anyone who can find their hands on what's called the hex strings uh, has access to the hardware code that allows jailbreakers to decrypt and analyze the console's bootloader that startup menu. So if they get access to that, they can essentially hack it to bootload anything. You can bootload PS2 games, PS3 games, PS4 games, even PS5 games. And all this is really hard to defend simply because it's all directly on the APU. It's a hardware hack. So
Yeah.
every single PlayStation that's out there, right before this hack has all been hacked completely, all the APUs. So they have all the ROM keys and they have access to the bootloader and they have access to jailbreak these consoles and so anything about it. Now they could do something about it for the future hardwares with the new APs and stuff. That anything that's new into production, they'll be able to stop and or change things so that way it doesn't happen to the new consoles that they bring out. But anything that's been out already, and if somebody is fancy enough with both software and hardware, they can definitely make all the ROMs for all the games that Sony doesn't want to make money on, because they could make a ton of money if they just release these games again on the newer systems. I know how hard that could be, and with development and all that and licensing, it's a little bit difficult. But these hackers now have access to all of that, and it is significant because this is just once where Sony is always getting hacked. This is just one time, but Sony seems to be getting hacked every 3 months. And honestly, they
Yeah.
really need security measures at Sony because it seems way too often.
Yeah. I remember when this happened, I was just like, figures that Sony would have this hacked because it's just kind of on brand for them. Like throughout history, Sony has been hacked on multiple occasions. The PSN got hacked. PlayStation, what was it? The entertainment side. I forgot what it was called. Because I remember they had it separated at one point. Um, but it was like their PC stuff, kind of when they were separated. That got hacked, and then I think like maybe it was a year ago or like 2 years ago, there was a hack that got some personal information. And now there's this. So it's just like it's kind of it's par for the course for Sony to get hacked in some way. And they're I don't know what they're doing. Like why is it so easy to get into Sony's systems and basically allow these people granted not like American, because obviously actually this is kind of pro consumer because being able to
Yeah.
like jailbreak consoles and stuff like that, it allows the consumer to do what they want with the product that they bought. And that's ultimately a good thing. But for Sony, this is not a good thing because now it's allowing people to run unsigned code. It's allowing people to run pirated games, and it's only a matter of time before they allow not allow but somehow find out uh emulate games on. Maybe it'll take like a beast of a PC to do, but the fact that it can be done is the problem for Sony, at least. Yeah, I think this is just a complete, like, this is Sony stepping on another shovel. And I know we talk about Microsoft stepping on shovels, but that's like more of on the business side. Sony's stepping on shovels on like the hardware and software side. They're always making mistakes and always making their systems vulnerable to attack. And it's a good thing and a bad thing depending on like how you look at it. In this case, it's good for the consumers, bad for Sony. But yeah, I don't know what it is that they're doing that's leading people to be able to do this stuff, but they gotta fix something because this is not good to look. This is not a good look for them.
No, definitely not a good look for them. I don't know how they can come back from something. That's why I wanted to talk about it, because like we heard about it. It was, and then it was like, let's not talk
Yeah,
about more.
nobody was
Let's move
talking
on.
about
It
it,
was
but
weird.
that's that's also par for the course for Sony stuff. Like people just don't want to acknowledge when Sony messes up. Essentially, when Sony messes up, nobody wants to talk about it. They'll bring it up and they'll post an article, but then it just kind of just disappears, and that's all that we ever hear. It we heard of it once, and then that's it. And now, like, I guess we won't hear about it again until there's a big development in this, and or maybe a potential lawsuit that comes out of it. I don't know. I don't think it could happen like that because, like, who do you sue? Like, because like it's a collaborative effort. But then
Yeah.
again, like we've heard about stuff like this in the past. I guess Sony can do the piracy route, and they can claim that there's a conspiracy for people to pirates. I don't know. We'll find out more soon, but definitely this is gonna have more updates. And yeah, this is just a big black eye for Sony going forward. And it's probably going to cause Sony to put more emphasis on the next gen, like PS6, because we've heard rumblings about it right now. We don't know exactly when it's gonna launch, especially considering the whole crisis with that stuff. With the AI stuff, but we'll get to that. Um, but yeah, I'm going to assume that this is gonna lead Sony to be like, let's move on. Let's try and mitigate the damage that this might cause by talking about our next thing. Because once you get people to talk about the next thing, they don't care about the PS5 no more. So we'll see.
Yeah, we shall see. I guess we can get to a little bit of better news for Sony in a way, right? We have news about the God of War TV show and the actor who portrayed Kratos. It's been a big news this particular week about live action actors showing up. Acid. We got to see the first look at Sophie Turner in Tomb Raider as Lara Croft. But also, Kratos was casted, the former Sons of Anarchy star Ryan Hurst, and he will play Kratos. And it's really cool because he played Thor in the Ragnarok. He was the voice of Thor. So it's really cool that they kept somebody who was already sort of like entrenched in the universe already. People were talking about like, oh well, why not Christopher Judge for Kratos? And I
Yeah.
was looking this up, and apparently it was because he had a lot of surgeries with both knee and lower back, and he's getting up there in age. I think he's like 61, and they haven't
Oh
even
wow.
started filming the God of War Ragnarok, the TV show. Amazon hasn't even started filming. They're just announcing. So and it gets, everything, gets done. He could be, if they go for 2 seasons, I think it's gonna be for 2 seasons. You're looking at least 7 years with production. He's gonna be 67 by the time it's all said and done. And to play somebody as let's say active as Kratos is, somebody
Yeah.
who's that age will be able to, perform action version of Kratos. And I think personally, Ryan Hurst is a great pick. He has that deep voice that he can put on, and he's a really good actor. And I even the show they did some amazing work in the past for really good shows. So I have really high hopes for this show. This show looks like it's shaping up to be something to watch for and to watch out for when it does drop.
Yeah, forward to this show. Obviously, I've been a fan of the Ragnarok story. I never really played much of the original God of War games. I've played them, but I've never like played a lot of it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know. I wish I had the time. I didn't have a PS3 at the time. I didn't have well, I had a PS2. I wasn't really into God of War at that time. But yeah, so I do, and there's been a lot of talk about the whole like why did they start with the Norse mythology and why couldn't they do the Greek mythology? But I feel like for a show that's supposed to kind of like, I don't want to say mimic the style of the Norse mythology games, because when you look at the two, it's like the God of War 2018 and Ragnarok, those were story heavy games. Like they were meant to focus on the story aspect of the franchise and flesh out Norse on a whole so that way it are easier for the and that's why that goes into the whole and about making movie games or whatever. But yeah, but the PS2 games, those were games first. The story kind of took like a back burner. Yes, it was there, and yes, there was some depth to it, but not on the level as the
What?
more recent God of Wars. At least in my opinion. I mean, granted, I
What?
haven't played them.
You've never played it.
I know I've never
You
played it.
can't
So
say
yeah.
that. The stories are there. They're really great stories. Yes, it's about an angry, demigod who becomes a god, but the stories are there, and that's the whole point of it. You're playing through the stories as great. I mean, we could sit here and talk all night about the story, but yeah, I played all of them, including like the PSP versions of like Chains of Olympus and all this other one. All of
Yeah.
them. That's great. Sure, versions are more powerful. They take a different turn. Used to be those are just odd. It was vengeance, but it was still great. And
Yeah.
the gameplay was good. I think this was different compared to those. I don't want to say it was not as stories heavy, because the story's there and it was really good.
Yeah. What I meant is more of the fact that like these games were trying to attract a different audience than the original games. So I think they're trying to do that for the show as well. So they're not trying to, and maybe this is kind of like blasphemy, or like maybe you think this is negative, or a lot of people might think this is a negative, but like they're not trying gamers, you know what I mean? They're trying to get other people involved into the series so that way they can
Gonna
make
get the
more money off of the
normies.
games. Well, yeah, essentially, yeah. They got to get the normies involved. And that's always the goal for any adaptation. They like you can, and that's like even like with the Mario movie, the Sonic movie, or the Fallout TV show, or the Last of Us show. All these different as the prime goal is to get people who haven't played the game to maybe be interested enough that they might buy the games afterwards. So, yeah, it can seem like a negative, but I think that's what the purpose of the show is, and that's why they chose the more recent God of War, so that way, because one that's you know what I mean? I mean, would it be nice to have a more Greek mythology show? Sure. I think it works better narratively to see as he was in those games and then kind of like contrast it to what he was prior to that. It's kind of like how they did it in the DLC for Ragnarok. What was it called? I forget what it was called, but the DLC. What basically they did that. It was more action of his past, and it was because he was he was a dad, and he was more
and
reserved.
it's Valhalla. I'm sorry, it's Valhalla, by the way.
Yeah, the Valhalla. Yeah, I remember now. I think they took that concept, and that's what they're gonna do with the show. Obviously, that's just me, but I think that's a pretty good approach. But getting back to the original story or topic, the casting is really, I think it's really good. I think, like you said, having somebody already involved with the story makes it a lot easier audition for people. Obviously, while he may not be playing Kratos, I'm going to assume Christopher Judge will be involved in like consultation because he played the character for so long, and I think now he can pass on his kind of like style to what's his name? I forgot you said it, but I'm blanking.
Brian Hurst.
Brian Hurst. He can pass it on to him so that way he can. I mean, they work together, so it's like I feel like that's a good way to do it. So that way was how if they want to go there. I don't know if that's the goal to like mimic what Christopher Judge did. I hope that is because his performance was phenomenal. So yeah, I mean we'll see obviously, but I think this is a good casting. It's really just going to be the supporting cast that's going to be kind of make or break because Kratos, obviously that's what to do, but this so hopefully they can nail those two, especially like characters like Brock, because he's very like abrasive. So you're gonna have to have somebody be able to match that. I vote for Danny DeVito.
That would be hilarious.
That would be hilarious and
That's
fit.
a good pick. Sure, if they'll go. I'm not sure if they'll go for that, but it's a good pick.
Yeah.
All right. Let's continue. We got some more Sony news. This is about patents that Sony recently filed when it concerns AI. So Sony patents an AI that will allow PlayStation games to play themselves when players are stuck. It's an AI generated ghost player assistance would help out players who can't a game. Oh man, I honestly I don't know how to feel about this. This is so the patent was originally filed in September of 2024. I mean, so nothing's yet has happened. This is just a patent, and we all know patents don't make the light of day. I honestly think it's a step in the wrong direction. I mean, listen, we just talked about God of War. If you played God of War, Ragnarok, or even the original 2018 version, the AI already helps you too much. Like you have Atreus literally telling you how to do the puzzles if you're just looking at the wall for too long. It's kind of ridiculous. Like they didn't even give you a chance. You get into a room, the puzzle's there, and the kid is already yapping his mouth. Like, all right, come on. Give me a chance to analyze, figure it out before you start yapping. Now they're talking about a ghost player to help you figure out how to beat a particular part or a level, or maybe the entire game completely. I think that's ridiculous. I don't know that you're not playing a game if you're doing that. If you're allowing the AI to play for you or to do a particular puzzle or particular session for you, You're not playing the game. Why even play point?
Yeah, that's something I really don't understand. Like, although we have seen instances where, and granted, this is mostly isolated instances. We have seen it where players need some type of help. Like, this is like the whole concept or the whole argument about the yellow paint or the yellow
Yeah.
tape or whatever that a lot of games tend to put in their games because players need some type of guidance. And I remember there was a video, I think it was Ghost of Yote, where the player was trying to figure out where to go next or something like that, because I think you have to like put the piece into or something like that, and he couldn't figure out where to put it. So literally, the game after like 30 seconds, the guy was trying to figure it out, and then the game like say put it here because he could not figure it out where to put it. Yeah, and it's a hilarious video, but it illustrates that players do need some type of guidance. So I do kind of see like where their mindset might be going for. Like that, some gamers need a little bit of a push. They need a little bit of a action when it comes to these because they are complex, and especially like if the UI is a little confusing, it can be tough. But this is not. I feel like this is taking it a step too far, and having an AI basically play the game for you, so that way you don't have to deal with the struggle of figuring things out on your own. That's not gaming. Like that's the whole purpose of video games is figuring things out, cuz video games boil down to basically being a puzzle. You have to figure out that puzzle. It can be a puzzle, it can be a very easy puzzle, but it boils down to being a puzzle. Sometimes they give you sometimes they give you. But for the most part, you're figuring it out on your own. When you take that away, it ceases being a game. Because now you're this thing. And now it becomes a movie. And that's what I was saying earlier about Sony making freaking movie games. Because that's kind of what they're leaning to. It's ironic that Sony, they're basically turning their video games into movies. It's like this was their goal the whole time. So I get the idea behind it, and I get where they're coming from. Yes, it can be used in a good way, sort of, but when you own the gamer and basically just do the hard part for them, then I feel like that's a step too far, and then it's not video games anymore. So, granted, a lot of times companies will patent stuff that will never see the light of day, specifically for that purpose. So there's times where companies will patent ridiculous concepts just so that way it does not get made and that they own it. So that way they can just, all right, we own it. Let's put it on the back burner so nobody gets any bright ideas. But there's always that chance that the right CEO, the right executive will just come around and be like, hey, why don't we do that? Remember the conversation happened around the time when patent it was like an ad thing where in the middle of the game an ad will pop up, or maybe it wasn't a game, it was like for their TVs, like in the middle of whatever you're watching or playing or whatever, an ad will pop up. The only way to get rid of the ad is to say the name of the product. So in the it showed a picture of like a McDonald's logo and then the person saying McDonald's, and then that's the only way to dismiss the ad. That is crazy. That is dystopian level shit.
I would
Go
shoot
ahead.
somebody if that happens. I said I would shoot
Exactly.
somebody if that happens. yell my TV. You play my. I'll never play your game, and I'll install the plugin window.
That's what I'm saying, and that I feel like they did this so that ways won't do that. But there's always a chance to do that. So it's like it's a
And there's always
double-edged
a
sword.
chance.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that could be what they're doing here. So that way nobody else gets the opportunity to do that. But there's always a chance that Sony might say, hey, this might be a good idea. Especially with the rise of AI and everything. So,
Yeah.
who knows? We'll see how this is, if this even pans. But if it does, Lord help us all.
Yeah. I mean, definitely not gonna be looking good for if it does come to light. Let's move right along because we have some news about Meta and close several studios, including Explosion Man Studios, Twisted Pixel, and Asgard Wrath, Senzara Games. These are all VR studios that work in Meta's reality vision, and they're 10% of this, and they're closing all these studios, and it doesn't look good for games and VR studios. It kind of like it looks really, really bad.
Yes. It's not surprising because it felt like they weren't really putting that much effort into their gaming division anyway. But at the same time, like this is just a huge blow to gaming in general because they did a lot of money to it. What was it was it was one of the Jeff Keighley shows. I think it was the Summer Games Fest that they announced the
Deadpool.
Deadpool. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Deadpool game. And now that, well, yeah, I mean it released, but that studio is gone. And the same studio
Yeah.
that made Arkham video game is gone.
Yep.
So it's
Gone.
like did you even try? And Meta games, like they didn't even, it's not much to port to anyway, but why not port it to Steam? Why not port it to, it's not much audience, port it to the PlayStation yard, like what money is possible, but they just gave up on it. And it, like I said, it shouldn't be surprising because this is Meta. They're kind of like Google in that sense, because Google tends to abandon whatever doesn't work. If it doesn't work within like a few years, then they just abandon it. And I feel like that's what Meta's doing. It didn't work within the few years, dump it. Want to try, but that's just kind of how things go with VR, especially because it's a niche thing. It's cool and it's very interesting, but the home application for it is just not there, and I don't think it ever will be. I think it works best as like something that you can go to like in an arcade, or I even went to like a VR
Like
thing
the
where
sandbox,
like they put like
the
a
VR, yeah, the
sandbox
sandbox
VR.
VR.
Yeah, that's exactly which one. Yeah, that type of stuff. But I can see why that might not be a good business model. Because like not a lot of people even know about it. So it's based off of demand. So it's VR is one of the things that it keeps on rearing its ugly head, and they're trying to make it work. Same thing with like 3D. I mean, I don't think we're gonna see 3D ever again. As big of a push for 3D got in the past like decade, I don't think we'll see that again. We may see VR up again when it starts to be more like the form factor starts to be more I guess comfortable, because right now the only wireless headset is the Meta Quest. And I think no,
No, the
no, they
Apple
have the
Vision as well,
Apple Vision Pro, but that's like way too expensive.
and nobody
It's
wants.
not worth talking about. Yeah.
Yeah,
Samsung has another one too. That's meant to compete like half the price or whatever. But
yeah,
yeah, so
yeah,
I think we'll still stuff but I don't think it's gonna be anywhere mainstream, and that's probably what's Meta is seeing right now. That it's just like it's not worth pursuing, at least seriously. So leave
yeah,
it to other companies. But I mean, Meta is one of those companies that tries to like do too much anyway. So this really shouldn't be a surprise.
yeah. All right, let's move on more uh, upsetting this time. These layoffs started really early for in 2026. Announced that Ubisoft Halifax was seeing 71 people lose their job, and this one was really sort of taking people back because the employees at Halifax just finished unionizing, so they formed the union and Ubisoft studio. And that was I think a really big mistake because since then, the studio is based in Canada, and Canada, the CWA president of the union, filed complaint the with Canada's government, and now they're investigating the unlawful business practices that are happening at Ubisoft after the unionization. So I think we'll see more about Dory coming soon once they do an actual investigation, because if they find that Ubisoft is liable for firing people after they unionize, that's going to be a big issue, and it's going to be a big problem for Ubisoft going forward.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with these companies that they're they know that their employees will unionize, and then they're like just taking direct action against that, and then trying to say that no, it wasn't part of that. Like if you know, and it's very like we saw the whole thing with Rockstar where they fired the employees that were trying to unionize. So it's like if you know that employees are trying to unionize, you should know the opposite of happen when if you try to fire them in that process. So Ubisoft basically just like didn't care essentially. They just they it because it was after that they unionized that they got laid off. So now they're in a whole mess of controversy lightly, and have a bunch of legal problems too because like this is illegal. You can't do this. And granted, Ubisoft is a French company, so maybe stuff is different over there. Same thing happened with Rockstar. They're based overseas, so it's like maybe these companies don't realize that they can't just do that. So now we're starting to see the ramifications of it. So obviously, like you said, we're gonna see more coming out of this, and
Yep.
this is just a big stupid move from Ubisoft. And I feel like the first time I've said that. So
Well,
yeah,
their stock is they're it's rough where Ubisoft right now because they are their stock is in the tank. It's going down really, really, really low. So it's not looking good for Ubisoft at all.
yeah. I mean, this has just been another like dumb move by Ubisoft that we just kind of have to like shake our heads and just be like, what are you doing? And it's so weird too because I mean, maybe not the majority, but at least in my perspective, like we heard about Ubisoft wanting to sell to somebody, and we were always against it because I mean, consolidation we've seen in the past has not been a good thing, and I think that Ubisoft would ultimately be a net negative for gamers. And we praise them when they didn't do that. They formed partnerships and stuff like that, subsidiaries, all that stuff with the Saudi government. Now Saudi, what was this? Saudi? No,
I
it
think
was
I think
Tencent,
so,
right?
right? No. Oh, Tencent. You know what? Saudi and Tencent were in partnership anyway, a bunch of stuff, so it's probably both.
Maybe I can't remember exactly, but yeah. So they did selling somebody, and we praise them for that. But now they're still making bozo moves. So it's just like, what was all that for? And it's just a tale of Ubisoft in general. Like they're always like just one step forward and three steps behind.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's get into some more juicy news. This time about uh cloud gaming and how it's going to possibly take over because of the rising cost of hardware. And a lot of that rising cost of hardware all comes from AI. So it's been really few years when we're talking about let's say just PC parts in general. Pandemic that saw chip shortages. Then, of course, all the crypto bros out there using every GPU they can to farm crypto. And now RAM has gone up astronomically, all because of AI. They need all the RAM for AI. So let's say a 64 gigabytes of RAM, which was like $200 just a month ago, is now over, I think, $800, which is insane. We really need of RAM and home computer, desktop, your work if you're just playing games. But still, the fact that it's gone up so much significantly in such a short time because of AI is the reason why cloud gaming is probably going to be some of the best options for people moving forward, because you don't need a PC or high-end PC to do cloud gaming. You can use it on a TV, a laptop. You can pretty much cloud game on any, like on your Xbox, on the PC, anything that has on your phone, anything that has a web browser, internet access. You can cloud game on, and I think if the prices don't come down in the future for GPUs, SSDs, and RAM, cloud gaming is here to stay. It's gonna be the new norm. I know you talked a little bit about this because you use cloud gaming yourself, Producer
Yes,
J, with
I do.
and you use it a lot with your ROG Ally Xbox X.
Yeah.
Sparingly most of the time because I'm home. I have my Series X or PC. I just download something. I'm fortunate enough to have the hardware already and not have to worry about the rising pricings. But for other people, it's going to be a significant increase to get into the hardware side of it, and cloud may save those people. And I say that because I think now specifically with Xbox X Cloud, it's got better over the years. We don't see much latency anymore, even on the chances when I use cloud gaming. So it's gotten a lot better, and I only see it getting better as the time goes on. We're gonna see a future where maybe a next console after the current ones that they're planning to make, maybe we don't see a next console after that. Maybe it will all be because and all these other things like crypto will just take over and use all the compute power to try and make as much money for all these things, being available to purchase for us regular consumers.
Yeah, I've been seeing the writing on the wall for a while when it comes to the like cloud and the rising prices of gaming in general. I think now we're witnessing the most drastic increase that we've seen in a while, because for a while we've seen increases in like GPU prices, and that was mostly due to like the crypto stuff. But then once that died down, the prices never really changed. Like it was still very expensive to get a new GPU. And now I feel like we're gonna see the same thing with like the RAM prices. Once the AI, because we know like I mean this is topic in general. AI is going to end. Like even Sam Altman of OpenAI, I think it was like in 2024, he did an interview and he said that if we're using ads to kind of supplement the or like they supplemental ad revenue as like a last resort for AI. And just like last week, he announced that ChatGPT is exploring ad supported stuff on their platform. So like we're already in the last resort phase for the biggest AI company. So I think either this year or next year the AI boom is gonna die down, and it's gonna be a big thing because so many companies are over reliant on AI that it's if it fails, we're gonna see like it's gonna be kind of like a recession in the not even just electronics, into entertainment in general, because
Yeah.
so many companies, TV shows, movies, electronics, like everything is AI based now. And when that dies, I don't think it's gonna die. I think it's gonna drastically shrink. Everybody's gonna be scrambling to try and find the next thing to kind of fill that void. But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. Um, as it pertains to gaming, I think that once that happens, once it dies down, these companies are gonna keep the prices where they're at because now they're seeing that while it may not be a lot, people will pay that price. The same thing happened with GPUs. Like, there's a reason why a 5090 can cost upwards of $3,000, $4,000 because people will pay that price. And while you may not sell as much, the rise in cost and the people that will pay for it kind of they even the gap. What does that mean for gaming though? I think like you said, it's going to be a reliance and like I said, I've seen the improvements. I do think it's viable right now. Obviously, there I even it usually at work to play the Kingdom Hearts games because they're not available natively on the Xbox Ally. I have to stream it, but it's almost seamless. There are a few times where there's like a little bit of hiccups, there's a little bit of lag, and it kind of slows down for like maybe like 5 seconds, but then it like fixes itself.
Yeah.
That's all reliant on how good of a connection you have. Because if I were to play cloud gaming on like from my mobile network, it's serviceable, but the latency is still there. So it's like it's just a lot of factors that are in play right now. And yeah, hopefully it gets better in terms of like playing games natively, because I think while cloud still it's a viable option for players, it shouldn't be the only option. And that's my fear too, a little bit. Like I fully expect that, like you said, that maybe not next gen, maybe not even the next gen after that, but eventually we'll get to the point where every game is streaming. But then that's reliant on an internet and how slow
Of course.
our infrastructure for internet is slow so many other countries that it's almost laughable. Like the fact that we got a byte, I want to say within the last like decade, is kind of like crazy because they were having gigabyte internet back in like 2011. Like in other countries, I want to say Korea, because I feel like Korea is like one of the ones I hear that they're like way ahead of the Asian countries, like Japan as well. Yeah, I feel like we're so far behind
That's
in that
that's usually
respect. That's Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say they're usually so far ahead because they expand taxes or to better the life of the people, whereas America, we don't do that. That's a
Yes.
different
Yeah,
topic, though.
that's exactly what it is. Yeah, I remember when Gigabyte also out, it took, I think it was Google, that they started to install fiber in certain areas that pushed other companies to start supporting fiber. And I remember I
Yeah.
wanted to get Google Fiber for a long time, and then the company I use now, Optimum, they got fiber miraculously. How convenient that they got fiber just as they were seeing competition in that area. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so I think eventually, hopefully, we can reach a point where cloud is a viable option. But still, nothing beats playing games natively. And I think that's where it's going to become an issue. I don't know what the solution is because I don't think these prices are coming. I just don't think these prices are coming down because, like I said, people are for it. So it's to them, and to companies that will pay whatever price they ask. So I don't know. It's just a lot up in the air right now. It's becoming very expensive to be a gamer, and I think they're gonna a lot of people out, and it's gonna go back to being a niche market eventually, where only the rich people can
Yeah.
enjoy.
Boo.
I know it sucks, but that's that's how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah. All right, let's move on because we got two more things to talk about. In particular, with is a week ago they did a showcase called New Game Plus, and it was supposed to be this news type of showcase where they focused on the game, the devs, and um the bike, and they were sort of hosting it. It was a 4 hour long show where they talked amongst themselves after the trailers and stuff. And at first, I thought this concept was really cool, but watching it was a tough watch, I'll be honest, because they had four different content creators and they were all kind of just like competing to be like the one still talking and the one still to stay relevant in that particular time about these games. And I feel like it wasn't genuine. It was just weird watching it. Have some really good games and deep dives that they showed. In particular, they showed a deep dive with developer for the Expanse, Osiris Reborn, which was really fun to watch and really got to see a little bit more about the game, which I'm really excited about that game coming out. Sort of that's the game that kind of reminds me of like Mass Effect, and we got to
Yes.
see like the yeah, you know what game I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we really got to see an in-depth look on the Blood of Dawnwalker, where you get to play as a human slash vampire, and there was a ton of games, a lot of indie games. They even showcased the updates for Vow to PlayStation 5. It's a lot. The show maybe an hour long. Get rid of the Forza whole that part where we'll get rid of that, focus on the games and the devs, and I feel like the show would have been.
Yeah, when they first announced this, I was all for it because I think gaming needs multiple shows to kind of spread out the information for games that aren't necessarily like the huge games that are coming out, but that do deserve some type of light. And for a long time, it was always just, oh, you got to watch E3, you got to watch Gamescom, you got to watch. And then morally, we gotta watch the Jeff Keighley shows. We gotta watch the Game Awards. Gotta watch the Summer Games Fest. But now E3 is gone. Gamescom is not really like, it's more of a con. Like, I mean, it's called Gamescom, but like it's more of just like a convention that it kind of fills the physical purpose of E3 that E3 used to do, but it's not really a huge show. It's huge for like Europe, and yeah, they have some game announcements there, but it's not really like a showcase for a lot of like it's more of a showcase for like bigger games or whatever. And yeah, some indie games get shown off there too, if you go in person. But like there's not a lot of variety in terms of like what companies offer. And I feel like Jeff Keighley is always trying to like capitalize on everything. I think he actually has a uh for Gamescom. I think it's called Opening Night Live. I think that's what it's called. And it's like right before Gamescom and stuff like that. And then he used to have that Summer Games Fest was in tandem with E3, and then E3 went away. And now that Game Awards basically just became another showcase show. And I don't really to be is what I'm like. Yeah. I think he has enough FaceTime as it is. So I think having another option is good overall. But I think this being their first outing, there's kind of some growing pains there because they kind of just came out of nowhere. Just like, hey, and they just did it. So I think hopefully they take all the feedback that they're getting, both positive, and use it to build a better show for next time. I think there's room to grow. I didn't watch the show, but I heard a lot about it. So I think this could potentially be good later on. Maybe next year might be a good show, or I don't know if they plan multiple shows a year, but I think this is a good thing overall. So hopefully they fight through all the negative comments and stuff like that to better themselves, because I don't want this to just be
A
streamer
one
bait
and done type
essentially.
thing.
Well, not even
Oh
no,
yeah,
not
yeah,
even one and
yeah.
done. Just yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, it ends up being more fleshed out next time.
You're right. It is definitely the first time, so we a decent show. I feel like if they just focus instead of on the creators and the hosts that they had there, like if they instead of focusing on games and the devs that talked about it, I think it would have been a way better show. That's just my personal opinion on it. I hope that they stick around and do another show next year or later on this year. Who knows? I just hope that they do it better.
Yeah, and I think they will. If they're smart, they will. They'll take all the feedback they can get and better themselves for next time around.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's the last bit of news we have, and we have to talk about this because next week is the developer direct, and they've been doing this for the last, I think it's like 4 or 5 years, and
Yeah.
it's become sort of tradition now. And on January 22nd, we'll get to watch a deep dive on Fable, Forza Horizon 6, and Beast of Reincarnation. And I'm really excited about this. I've always been a really big Fable fan since the 360 days. Fable 1, 2, and 3 were like really good games. I absolutely loved them. So getting to see more Fable, I'm super excited about. Forza Horizon 6, set in Japan. I absolutely cannot wait. Forza Horizon 6 is probably the best. Forza Horizon is probably the best racing game out there. I love that series, and being set in Japan is just like a cherry on top. I can't wait for this game, so I'm really excited to see what they're gonna show us at the developer direct this week, Thursday, and the surprise that's gonna be there. Because I mean, it's surprising it's gonna be there because it's a game-free game. It's not a, but Game Pass bills. Like I said, me and that's the people who make the Pokemon games, and it's sort of looks like if Game Freak wasn't held back and they got a big budget
Held
and
back.
go ahead
Yeah.
and create the best version of this type of game ever. And the game looks fantastic from what we've had already. So I'm excited to see more of it. I really want to play that game. Those are the 3 games for the developer direct. Normally they have 4 games and a secret 5th game that they show. So hopefully, with a lot of rumors that are going around, we get to see another game potentially, or maybe an announcement or a shadow drop or something at the developer direct. I'm really excited to see what we get into here this coming Thursday, and it's going to be 1 p.m. Eastern. Kind of sucks, which means I'll be working when it's on, but I will definitely be watching for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this. I know everybody's been looking forward to hearing more about Fable, and Forza Horizon actually surprised me because it was just announced just like a few years ago, not a few years ago, months ago, that it was at the Tokyo Game Show that they announced that it was coming to Japan. And I mean, it made sense to announce it there if it was coming to Japan. Um, but I didn't coming out that they would show it off already. I know people were kind of anticipating coming out later this year, but I think rumors are saying that it's supposed to be coming out in May, which is very soon. So, yeah, so it makes sense to want to show that off. And honestly, I hope it has a good showing. I hope that and Fable have a good showing because it'll essentially solidify Playground Games as being uh, a serious developer to look out for when it comes to game development. The fact that they're able to put out multiple games a year, they're gonna be like the Obsidian, like on Obsidian's level, where Obsidian's putting out like 2-3 games a year at this point, and it's
Yeah.
kind of astonishing to even do. And Playground being able to put out 2 games this year, uh, that's that, and I hope that they land the mark because I know it comes with Xbox games. They tend not to hit the mark right there. Like they're always like right there, and then they're just not up to snuff in terms of like public
That's
perception. Obviously, no, I know. I mean, like in terms of like the how people feel about their games, there's always some negativity surrounding it, and maybe it's just that's just the Xbox, so they gotta take it in stride. Hopefully, Fable and Forza can overcome that and just be a game that everybody can look forward to. That especially now that Xbox has fully embraced like their multi-platform strategy. So like we know Forza's coming to PlayStation. There's a strong chance that Fable's coming to PlayStation. They just announced recently that Avowed is coming to PlayStation. So
yeah.
and we know Halo's coming to PlayStation. So it's like once we shake off that talking point of a game being of an Xbox game releasing station, then it just becomes about the game. So I'm hoping that that's what happens, and that's the goal of this strategy is to remove the whole console war stuff and just focus on the game because Fable does look phenomenal based on what we've seen already, and I hope this developer direct kind of solidifies Fable especially. I know Forza is a big game and a lot of people like it. I'm not really a big racing game, or car racer or car sim you want to call it. I'm not big into those games. I know there's an audience for it. It's just not me. Um, but Fable though, that's right up my alley, and I hope they nail that because there's a lot riding on that game, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. As for and then the other game from Game Freak, Beast of Reincarnation.
Yeah, please.
That has there's a lot of questions about that game that I think it kind of makes it perfect for this platform because not a lot of people are talking about it. And I think this is a good chance for Game Freak to basically I know this is not the purpose, but to kind of throw the middle finger to Nintendo, be like, yo, we know it's y'all that are holding us back. So hopefully this ends up being a good game and shows that
100%.
I hope that Game Freak can show that they are a competent developer and that everything that's wrong with Pokemon is not just solely on them. It's mostly on Nintendo holding them back. I'm praying that that's the case because that would make things a lot easier to swallow. So hopefully this game ends up looking good and ends up doing good, and I can't wait to see more about it. As for the mystery, we know that there's always a mystery game that shows up. There's talk, there's rumors that it could be Double Fine's game that they've been working on. I know they just released Keeper, but they have been working on another game for a while now, and supposedly that's the one that's rumored to be shown. We don't know for sure, but we'll see. There's always one more thing that they always show. Last year, Ninja Gaiden 4, so we'll see. And also, not even just Ninja Gaiden 4, but also Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. So we may get two things out of this. Who knows? Yeah. So definitely look forward to this. It does suck that because I would have liked to live stream. I don't know why they do it on a freaking Thursday in the middle of the day. They know that people are working in the middle of the day? Like, come on. But but yeah, this is gonna be a show to look forward to. It's always good to start off the year with these shows, and yeah, I'm really excited for it.
Yep. That's it. That's all we got for the news. Like I said, we look forward to the showcases and to bring you more news, and we'll keep you guys updated on what we think and what's going to happen. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, definitely 2026 is the year to look forward to in gaming. I know I was kind of doom and gloom a little bit earlier about the pricing and stuff like that, but if you're already entrenched in whatever you got, if you're PC gamer, Xbox gamer, PlayStation gamer, Switch gamer, there's stuff to look forward to this year. And it's gonna be good. Try to focus, and it'll be good. So yeah, that'll do it for us. Remember, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can comment, and subscribe. Follow the links in the description for our sponsors, W Energy and NordVPN. And also, if you're listening to us on a podcast, and share them. And yeah, we really appreciate it if you do, though. That's it. We'll see you guys next week. We promise this is gonna be more consistent. We won't be extended hiatuses. Hopefully, no. Well, we don't know what the future is. But anyway, we'll see you guys next time.
This is
See you next time. Laters.